All right, folks, welcome back to the Night's Watch. I'm Jacob.
I'm Alex.
And we do have some bad news today. As I'm sure you've seen, as everyone's seen in the hockey world, we lost some good young men this week. Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew Gaudreau, both struck by an SUV, drunk driver, and killed in really the prime of their lives in their career. And holy shit, man, this is like as shocking and tragic of a thing as I can imagine.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen with or it happens in sports, but not like this, not like just so sudden. Not a guy like, kind of revamping his career. Not revamping, but he, 2 years in Columbus weren't great, but he's coming back to. It looks like he's coming back to himself. He's a great guy. Everything you see online is like he's just a good person. In addition to being a good hockey player, he's a good dad, good person. Very big in the community.
That's what stuck out to me was how quickly everyone came. Because you hear rumors about guys and who's a good guy and who isn't and all that, and hockey's kind of a small sport. And,
exactly.
You can get access to players kind of easily.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds creepy, but like we ran into Theodore and Hill at the
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It seems like you don't have to be in a $1,000 suite to run into someone and kind of get a vibe check. But
exactly. Yeah.
Every player, every coach, every person in management, everyone that met him at a fan event had nothing but good things to say about Johnny.
Yeah,
hockey.
he's just a good guy. So sad. I mean, obviously want to send our condolences to his family and the Columbus Blue Jackets organization who's been fucking hit hard recently, especially with this, and then that goaltender Matvis Klivinski. I can't remember how
Matthias
Klivinski, yeah. With the whole fireworks incident where he saved some people. It sucks for Columbus. And then obviously with Calgary, where he's a big deal there for a long time before going to Columbus.
Yeah,
I
still remember that crazy season was not so long ago.
Yeah, 21-22.
He had like 120 something points.
Literally only 2 years ago. Yeah,
he was literally like the best line in hockey that year.
He was second to only McDavid in points that year. Yeah, I mean it's so sad. It's terrible. Many ways that it could be prevented. Sounds like the guy. I mean, obviously not. Sounds like the guy's obviously drunk, but. Also sounds like the guy was an aggressive driver anyways.
In case you guys didn't hear what happened, so Johnny and Matthew are riding their bikes. They're in the bike lane where they should be.
Yeah, as you do. And
there was two cars that were
Philly, or outside of Philly.
And there's
doing normal stuff.
There was two cars that were next to them, and they were kind of keeping more towards the middle to give the bikes room, as
you should.
Yeah, and then this guy takes it upon himself to try to pass those two cars, and he passes on the right, and then that's where he struck him, and it's just.
Terrible.
To me, like, obviously alcohol, but also, like, I feel like that's just, like, a bad driving habit. Like, why would you think it's okay to pass on the right on a road like that forever?
Yeah, and we talked about it yesterday, and you were saying, I just don't want to ride bikes anymore because you rode them a lot during the pandemic when it was quiet, but as soon as cars were back on the road, you're like, this is unsafe.
It's scary. It's scary. Like, people do not give a shit about
it's terrible.
Pedestrians,
especially,
bikes.
I mean, it's not even just where they were at, because I think it was a fairly smaller town outside of Philly or like southern New Jersey. It was like quieter, and this guy was just on the fucking 2-lane road or neighborhood road going that fast and driving like that. It's just terrible. Again, terrible thing.
What makes it even the more tragic was, they were in town for their sister's wedding the next day. They were groomsmen at their sister's wedding.
Yep, feel terrible for
Johnny
them.
had 2 kids.
Yeah, Matthew's wife was 3 months pregnant. There's like a picture of him holding up the ultrasound. And now because this guy decided to not only drink and drive, but drive like an asshole, aggressively, killed 2 young, regardless if they were hockey players or not, killed 2 young fathers.
It's just
even if this wasn't Johnny Gaudreau and his brother. If it was just you and me, or some guy that lives in Philly, it's terrible, but it's amplified because he's in such a big spotlight and such a good person.
I was talking to you the other night, and I was like, I don't remember the last time something like this happened, or if something like this happened, where
there was something that
just
had
so
happened
many levels where it's like he's not only a famous player, but he's in the prime of his career. He's in the prime of his life. 2 young children.
Just everything's stacked up and looks like he's going to be having a good life.
Same thing with Matthew. He just took a coaching position at the high school that they both went to. Yeah. And a place that obviously churns out NHL players.
Yeah, I mean, look at too. I know his brother didn't catch on really, but that not everybody makes it to the league. He was in the AHL for a little while, but. He's at a high school where
the hockey world is so big. It's like
exactly if you're in the NHL, you knew or even close to it, like at the AHL or in some level of college hockey on the East Coast because they went both to BC, right? I think
so.
Now you knew both of these guys. Again, terrible. Obviously gone too soon. This is gonna be like one of those big what ifs. I think in NHL is like, what if Johnny came back and was just lighting that shit up with Adam Fantilli? He was only 31. He still had, this is probably his last contract. Maybe would sign one more. But he seemed happy.
He wasn't. The whole reason he signed with Columbus was he wanted to be a little closer to home and have a place to settle with his family.
Yeah, it's a nice area. Columbus is a nice area. It's like a college town, I think, and still super nice.
He's stateside. He's not too far from
his
Philly,
family. Yeah,
so
again, terrible. Don't know what to say.
Did you have any fun? I know he wasn't ever played for any of our teams, but did you?
He played against us a lot.
Yeah, I know, right? Did you have any fun Johnny hockey?
That's
memories?
The thing is, like, you could hate players like on the ice, but then you could actually also really love them off of it. Obviously, it was Johnny Gaudreau was a bitch to play against when he was with Calgary because he was so good. But then the game would end, and he's like out there like hugging Golden Knights players and having fun, just being a good guy. I think one of mine was him getting scared by the cannon in Columbus.
I love that. Yeah.
Like the flinching. He's like, what the shit?
Well, to me, it was like when he was playing for Calgary and it goes off and he jumps. But then even when he was playing for Columbus, the first time it went off, he jumped again.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it cracked me up.
And everyone's like, Johnny, you got to get used to it, man. You play here now.
You play here. You live here. It's a fucking cannon, bud. Yeah. Do you have any?
Yeah. Obviously, he had a lot of dazzling highlights.
Oh, yeah.
A few of them against us.
Oh, yeah. Another quick little funny one was, I don't know if you saw it, but he tried to play the body on Dustin Byfuglien when he was with Calgary. So they went behind the net to just cycle the puck back out, and he put Buff into the boards, and it didn't even look like he even felt it. I mean, granted, Buff is like 250, and
he was a big boy,
and then Johnny's all of like 150 pounds, and so like he just like brushes up. I think it was hilarious. I'm like, that man just playing the body on a man that's 100 pounds heavier than he is.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what made him good, man.
Yep.
Didn't care.
Yep. Did everything.
Another one, my favorite memory, the first thing I thought of when I was trying to think of good ones was not an on ice moment, but it was during the All-Star game. I think it was the one in Vegas too. And it's just this picture of him and Connor McDavid, and this is right when Johnny was probably at his peak, and then right when that rivalry between Calgary and Edmonton was really boiling over.
Yeah, battle in Alberta, because they faced each other so many times in the playoffs.
Yeah, and so they're in the dressing room, and they're sitting on the same little bench thing, but they're pointedly they're facing away from each other as much as they possibly can, with just like this awkward look on their face. And it was just so funny. It cracked me up when I saw it, and someone posted it the other day, and I was like, oh my god, it was just...
Yeah, like you look at the photo, it looks like Johnny Gaudreau is like really trying not to fucking laugh his ass off. Like the way he's just positioned, just...
Yeah, they were just very pointedly sitting back to back, but also going through a lot of trouble to not touch each other.
Exactly. I think that was so funny.
There was just like kind of that level of passive aggression where it's like, yeah, that rivalry was a very, very real thing.
Yeah, it was fucking... Like, yeah, it was. That rivalry was on fire for a while there. But yeah, again, he's gonna be missed. Great guy, great hockey player. Terrible.
Scored that OT winner against Jake Ottinger.
Yeah, that was the other one. Yeah, off that 21-22 season. It was a crazy angle too.
Yeah, because that was the series where Ottinger was like, he basically built his career off that series.
Yeah, because he took it to so many overtimes.
And then do you remember? I think that was the same series where the Calgary fans were trying to cast magic on him.
Yeah,
they were trying to cast spells on him, and then didn't need a spell, just had Johnny hockey.
I know we talk shit about Canada, but Calgary is one of those fan bases like I don't mind at all. They obviously latch onto their players, and obviously latched onto Johnny Gaudreau really well. But yeah, that was incredible. Like, I think he passed it, shot. Andre made a good save on the shot, and then like it rebound back out to somebody or back out to Gaudreau, and he just buried it on like a sharp angle, like glove side. I think it was just like a great shot, great goal, and that place fucking exploded.
Yeah, no, for real. And Landon McDonald made a post about it, and he talked about that night. And then he said it was so heartbreaking. He basically just said something like Johnny, you were magic. And I was like, yep.
Yeah, really, it sums it up, and that's terrible. Just a terrible thing, and I don't know what else to say from there. I mean, rest in peace, Johnny. Rest in peace, Matthew.
Yeah, rest in peace, Johnny. Rest in peace, Matthew.
Yeah.
And our heartfelt condolences to their families and
friends
their teammates
and everything.
Friends and everyone that feels this gaping hole in their life right now.
Terrible. But you know what? Let's do what Johnny did best and get out there and have fun. So unfortunately, I was hoping there was going to be no news this week, and we had only a few things, but we let off with one of the worst things, and the one thing that was we've been thinking about for a while. But there's a few other things that did happen. Obviously minor. Swayman and the Bruins are still far apart. And I think he's like pushing for $10 million, but people are saying he's not. And then it says again, someone says they are, and the agent's like, "Well, no."
Well, did you hear that interview with him? I don't remember who it was with, but he was talking about it, and basically he said like, "Well, my first contract negotiations, like I took it really hard because we went to arbitration, and you just take things personally, and I was so anxious and this and that." And he's like, "But this one, my mindset's completely different." He's like, "I understand what my comparables are, and I want to make sure the market stays strong for guys that come up after me." And he was saying all those things, and my first thought was like, yeah, he's getting $10 million.
He's gonna bend over the Bruins. And
I mean, they bent themselves over.
They traded
Allmark way too fast without signing Swayman, and now Swayman's like, okay, well,
I'm all you got. Like
exactly, it's either me or Eunice Corpusalo.
Yeah, Corpusalo. Jesus. Yeah. Rightfully so. I think he should, and I hope he gets paid what he wants to get paid. And
part of me is kind of sad to see that culture in the Bruins where guys took pay cuts, and they were always able to field strong teams or ice strong teams because of that. Now it's kind of slipping away. Pasta got paid, McAvoy got paid, Swayman's, in my opinion, might get a little overpaid.
I think so. Because he's like, look, even if it's not $10 million, he might getting paid like what, 7 or 8. That's still a lot of money.
I could have egg on my face pretty quickly here, but I think he's getting a little overrated. Like, I'm sorry, like you're not Connor Hellebuck, dude. Like, you haven't even played a full season as a starter.
Yeah, I mean, like Connor Hellebuck, he falls apart in the playoffs too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's easy to keep those numbers strong when half your games are being played by Linus Allmark.
Exactly. Yeah, and he's got to come in to bail you out. Yeah, we'll see. But then another signing, Draisaitl and the Oilers aren't close either. There's like some report that came out. I think it was just like some guy that was bullshitting, but or reading into things or saying could, like it was like some kind of close deal, and the Draisaitl's agent was like, "No, we're not." It's like, we're not even talking right now. And I'm like, oh, why wouldn't she be talking with literally the second best player in the world to extend him? But the whole thing is like, well, obviously he wants money, but he probably wants to win. But also, do you want money and still be in Edmonton? You can get money and win in other places.
Whether it's in Edmonton or somewhere else, he is going to become the highest paid player in the world.
Yeah, it's what
until Connor's next contract.
It's what Austin Matthews is the highest paid player, right? Or is it?
Yeah, it was McKinnon. It was briefly McKinnon, and then Matthews like cleared it by like a few thousand.
It's like what, $14 million, something like that.
I don't think it was quite 14. I want to say it was like 13 something.
So Draisaitl is going to get paid probably $14 million.
That's my assumption.
And then McDavid's going to get paid 15. And I just don't see how
whatever the maximum allowed is, they're just going to give it to him without blinking.
Yeah, I just don't see how you can do both of these and then also still have Darnell Nurse as an anchor on your for your contracts.
Yep.
It's just impossible. They're going to have to pay other people too.
Well, it's simple. You just bring in a bunch of 40-year-olds on minimum deals.
All of a sudden you're the fucking Stanley Cup favorite.
Yeah, and then suddenly everyone can be like, wow, look how impressive this depth is. They managed to keep 40-year-old Corey Perry.
Oh boy.
What a victory.
They let Dylan Holloway walk. It's totally great to have all that depth you don't have anymore.
Yep.
Gonna have fucking James Hamlin come up.
Another contract Seth Jarvis just signed.
Yeah, he signed for 7.9, right? Something like that.
Well, I think the initial report was 7.9, but it was actually more like 7.1 because they did that deferred money thing.
Yeah, they wanted to
do with Marchessault.
Yeah, it makes more sense for Jarvis because he's like only like 22.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you're gonna get bought out, you're getting bought out when you're 28, 29. I think I'd take that deal because you could still you should still be in your prime at that age.
Yeah, and I think that was their last. Because Nate just signed.
Nate just signed, and that was the last contract they had open. which is great. I think that really helps Carolina. They needed it. I mean, they lost. We'll get into it. Obviously, in our preview for the Metro, they lost Jesper Foss to was like a neck surgery, I think.
Mm-hmm. He's going to be out the whole year.
Whole year. So that's a big hole in their lineup on the wing. Yeah, they needed Jarvis. They needed Netchus. They need something else too, as we'll get to it. But yeah, they needed Jarvis desperately.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's a great signing. I saw some things where they're like, signing for him is about like 4 to 6 years at 6.5. Like, there's no way in God's green earth that Seth Jarvis is getting less than $7 million.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe 2 years ago, but now GMs are handing out 8x8s,
especially with
like candy.
how good of a season he had last year and how good of a playoffs he had.
Yeah,
there's not a chance.
And he's exactly what they need is scoring talent. And
exactly.
That energy, know, because that seems to be the one thing that always fails them in the end is not being able to score.
Yep. No, I totally agree. And then there were Olympic qualifiers this week for the last 3 spots in the 2026 Olympics in Milan. First thing that came out of it was Artur Silovs was not playing for Latvia, and they're saying that he had knee ligament inflammation. First they said he might miss camp, and now they're saying that he might be ready for camp. I'm like, oh. So it's a possibility Vancouver could be missing 2 goaltenders come camp.
Patera time.
Jiri Patera might be their starter if they don't do anything. Even if you had just Demko and Shilovs, I think you would want to go after a depth goaltender somehow. Like, that's a dicey situation, I think.
Even if it's just someone that would probably clear waivers and
exactly.
Stash him with Abbotsford.
Yeah, you just need an extra guy. Like, I love Jiri Patera, but Jiri Patera is not a backup goaltender in the AHL. He's going to be, spot games and basically in the AHL's career. Yeah, I'd be worried if I was a Vancouver fan right now. And then into the Olympic qualifiers, so there are 9 spots locked in. Obviously, Italy is the host, and then the obvious ones: Canada, U.S., Finland, Sweden, Russia for now. Yeah, that's a question mark.
They might get banned.
Yeah, their ban might get lengthened because I think the ban goes up after next year. Mm-hmm. And then the Swiss, Czechia, and Germany. So the final 3 spots, I think, were decided today with the last 3 groups. I think it was Slovakia, Latvia, and Denmark all made it in. And our boy, Jonas Romberg,
he gets to represent his nation at the Olympics.
Yeah, he scored a goal today.
Not today. It was game 2.
Oh, game 2, but
against Japan. But it was the game tying goal because they went down early.
Japan had a good showing.
Japan played pretty well.
Japan had a good showing. They were never dominated any game. They were always in it.
So yeah, he played all 3 games of the qualifier. Had a goal. Was a +1.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited.
The goal was a big goal. So
Denmark is a sneaky team.
Happy to see our Henderson boy represent.
Yeah, Denmark's a sneaky good team. Like when they have like NHLers playing.
Because they have like 5 or 6 NHLers.
Yeah. Freddie Anderson, like we talked about, is Danish, and so they've got good goaltending. They've got good forwards. They might be I won't say dangerous to like the top 4, but like dangerous to like they could make a spoiler in like Finland or Sweden or somebody. Just depends on coaching. So
they're gonna get in there on those cool running vibes.
Exactly. And then so last bit of news: new Golden Knights numbers came out. Victor Olofsson will be wearing a number 95. No one's ever worn that in our team history. Ilya Samsonov is going to be 35. Only Oscar Dansk has ever worn that. And then Holtz changed to 26 coming to their team. It was Paul Stastny, Matthias Janmark, and Tobias Bjornfoot all wore that. So no numbers that, are relatively well-known Golden Knights. Obviously, I think you and I both love Paul Stastny, but, he was only here for like a year or 2.
Like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, so I think that's cool. I mean, Olofsson going to a brand new number he's never worn. He wore, I think, 2 numbers in Buffalo, and he switched it in the 95. So that'll be cool to see.
Yep, it just like I said, it's just another sign that we're getting closer to the to training camp.
Oh, I am excited. So
hey, buddy, it's September.
Oh, September 1st.
Preseason
starts
this month.
But yeah, we mentioned a little bit. We're going to talk about the Metro today.
Metro Division.
The Metro Division preview. This I think we were talking about it earlier. this division, much like the Atlantic, you're like, what the fuck are these bottom teams? Like,
this division fucking sucks. I hate this division.
It's such like it's a clear number one. I think we all
fucking sucks.
I think we all know who the clear number one is in this division.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's like anybody could jump up, not because they're good, just because these teams are just a fucking collection of random forwards that
there's literally like 5 or 6 teams in this division where I'm like,
I hate their lineup.
Yeah,
I hate this.
Like when I'm looking at like my 2 and 3 and 4, I'm like, I hate that you're this high up. It's just because the rest of the division's so dog shit.
Yeah. So I guess we can get into it like we did last week.
Yeah, so we'll start at 8. We'll see who was there last season, and then we'll do a little 3, 2, 1 and say who we think will be there this season.
Yeah. Let's get started.
So last year, 8th place, I believe, was Columbus.
It was Columbus.
Not sure what their record was.
It was awful. Columbus went 27, 43, and 12. They only had 66 points.
Jesus.
Somehow didn't get the first pick, so
yep.
That's terrible.
That's just how bad San Jose was.
Yeah.
But anyways, so last year, 8th place in the Metro was Columbus. This year, 8th place is going to be 3, 2, 1, Columbus. Oh, I don't want to kick them while they're down. But
I don't want to get into it. Yeah.
What more is there to say?
Didn't change much.
They're just really still in the depths of this rebuild, whether they're calling it that or not. All their best players are like 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
Couple of veterans that aren't there to move the needle. They're just there to kind of shelter the
and there's
guys.
Like Kent Johnson. Kent Johnson needs to like shit or get off the pot. Like, you're 22, man. You need to figure it out. He came in as this high drafted pick, 2021 pick 5. He just hasn't lived up to it. Adam Fantilli had an injured year last year. I think he'll come back and be okay.
I really like Fantilli.
Yeah, I do.
I think he'll be a star, but again, it's peak rebuild.
I do like the Russian trio they have on this team: Voronikov, Chinikov, and Marchenko.
Yeah.
I think they'll put them back together as a line. They had a lot of chemistry there at the end of the year. They looked really good. I think those guys will get put back together. But then, like Cole Sillinger, Justin Danforth, James Malatesta, I'm like that. Like what? There's nothing to be excited about. Like the defense actually isn't bad, but you have Ivan Provorov on your team, was good for one season in Philly and then's turned into a pylon, and also is a terrible homophobe. Eric Goodbranson's 33.
Jersey, Ivan.
Yeah, shut up. Like, and now he's on the same team with Jordan Harris, and Jordan Harris was like, "You bitch."
Yeah,
I think he didn't directly call him out, but he basically said like we're in hockey, we're not talking about your feelings.
Yeah.
So, but it's just, and then plus the goaltending is Tarasov and Merzlikins, and Merzlikins was awful last year. I don't know. Yeah,
I know Tarasov is like the young up and comer, but he didn't look
great.
Either.
And they've got some guys coming up, but they also have Jack Johnson on this team. I'm like, ugh. Yeah. Again, don't want to kick them all they're down. I think Columbus knew this. I think they knew they were going to be 8th. I think they're going to stay in 8th. I don't know what else.
They bring in Sean Monahan, but again, that's not a move to like move the needle. That's a move to give your young guys someone to be mentored by.
Probably hit the cap floor a little bit.
Yep.
All right. We can go to 7th. So last year New Jersey was 7th. It's 3-2-1.
3-2-1 Pittsburgh.
Yep, I had Pittsburgh too.
All right.
Yeah, we've talked about.
This is what I mean. I feel like I'm going to pop off a little bit here. I fucking hate this division, man. Teams disgust me.
Yeah,
teams disgust me.
Yeah, we talked about it during our hot takes episode. How both you and I agree that I don't know if that was your hot take or my hot take. It was my hot take that Pittsburgh is going to finish bottom 5 in the league.
Oh yeah,
this team is not good. Like,
no,
I'm not talking about Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby is 37 and amazing. Sidney Crosby's an incredible hockey player still. We've got the lineups pulled up on the Hockey News.
Well, according who knows how it'll actually be, but they got Drew O'Connor up there right now.
Yeah, everybody's gonna say that they traded for Rutger McGroarty, and all of a sudden, like, all their problems were solved. I don't think so.
Oh no.
I mean, let's look at the lineup. So it's O'Connor, Crosby, and Rust. Bunting, Malkin, and Raquel.
Yeah, Malkin's slowing down.
He's slowing down. He's definitely getting old.
I don't know if I can say Raquel's slowing down because he never
started, never got there. And then the third line is your favorite player in hockey, Kevin Hayes.
Oh yeah,
Rutger McGroarty and Cody Glass. And then fourth line is Blake Lizotte, Lars Eller, and Noel Acciari.
I feel like these at least half of these forwards, they're all guys who are like, yeah, that could be a sneaky good pick on a good team, add some depth, be
And they're
number 12, number 13.
And then
their whole team is made up of guys like this.
Yeah, Kevin Hayes is playing third line center for your team, and Kevin Hayes has been awful for 4 years?
Yeah.
Cody Glass, he's up and down, but I don't think he's anything amazing. Rick McGroarty needs to prove him. Like, he's 20, he's never set foot on an NHL rink. He needs to prove himself.
We don't even know if he's going to make the team.
Yeah, exactly. And Blake Lizotte's been bad, and he never worked out in LA. You got Lars Eller.
I always keep thinking Blake Lizotte's young, but not really.
You're thinking of Alex Turcotte.
Yeah, okay.
Who's the young guy that was drafted a couple of years after Blake Lizotte was drafted.
Because Blake Lizotte's about to be 27.
Yep. And then fucking Lars Ellers. Didn't know he was 35 years old. Jesus.
Yeah.
Fourth line, and then Noel Acciari.
32-year-old Noel Acciari.
Yeah, great. And their defense is atrocious. Ryan Graves, Chris Letang, Marcus Pettersson, Eric Carlson, Matt Grzelcyk, and Sebastian Aho.
Yeah, I'm almost at the point where
Marcus Pettersson's okay.
I'm almost at the point where what more can I say? I'm just going to read the names.
Yeah, Ryan Graves is dog shit. Chris Letang is 37. He's showing his age.
Eric Carlson is so fucking overrated.
Overrated.
He cannot defend.
Apparently
he couldn't get that power play started either because that power play
was terrible.
Dog shit.
With Sidney Crosby on it, with Evgeny Malkin on it. I think wasn't Riley Smith was on this team too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't get this team going anywhere. They're just old and not good. And then goalies is Jari and Ned. But
definition of mediocre.
Jari's I think been overrated for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And then they've got scratches as Anthony Bevelier, which whatever, 27, another guy that's past being a prospect has not lived up to the hype. And then our favorite fucking draft joke, Jesse Puljujarvi.
Yep.
Again, hasn't lived up to the hype. Doesn't
Ryan
look great.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, and then Ryan Shea. I don't remember where he.
But hey, if Matt Nieto comes off IR,
yeah, he might be okay. Yeah, and then you look at their prospects. I'm like, oh boy, Cruz Lucius, the younger worst brother of Chaz Lucius. I just don't know where this team this team is bad. Yeah. This is a bad team.
Yeah, and I feel like people still have it in their heads like, well, yeah, they haven't made the playoffs the last few years, but they're still a bubble team. They're
somehow going to beat out Carolina, New Jersey. No, they're not. This team is not.
Yeah, and they're only getting older and getting worse.
Sidney Crosby's the opposite of that because apparently Sidney Crosby's fucking Benjamin Button, I guess.
Yeah, he's just drinking from the fountain.
Yeah, and he's just going crazy. But the rest of his team is not good.
Okay, can I read you my 3 bullet points I wrote down for Pittsburgh?
Shit.
First bullet point, I hate this roster so much. Second bullet point, free Sid.
I'm going to make that sign and take it to Golden Knights games.
Yeah, and then third one where I try to actually have a thought, I just wrote shallow forward core, bad defense.
AKA bad team.
Yeah.
What happens? I don't think Sidney Crosby will get injured because that man's really turned around since the concussions early on in his career. He's played all 82 games last year, looked incredible. Brian Rust has basically made a paper. I had him on my fantasy team last year a lot, but I'd have him for a week, then he'd get injured and be gone for a week. And then I would have him for a month and he'd get injured and be gone for a month. I'm like, God damn it, Brian, figure it out. And Malkin's showing his age and was injured a good amount of last year. Rickard Rakell had injuries.
And even when he wasn't injured, he just didn't
look like
himself.
38's hitting him hard. The man's almost 40.
Yeah.
And then, like we said, Kevin Hayes is a do-nothing. Cody Glass, I think Cody Glass has potential, but his potential is exactly where they have him at in the bottom 6.
Exactly. To me, I'm like, Cody Glass has the potential to be a really good fourth line center.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't mean that as an insult because you need really good fourth line centers.
Look at Tomas Nozick and
exactly.
Nick Waugh and Brett Howden.
While a good team needs a really good fourth line center, a bad team, they're not going to have their fortunes changed by a really good fourth line center.
Yeah, Lars Eller is not a really good fourth line center. Sorry, Lars, but you'll go to the Olympics, I guess. Yeah, I know what else we can say about this. I don't like this team at all. They're not
a bubble team, and every year there's always a team that crashes way harder than you think they're going to.
This team's going to crash hard.
This is this year's team.
We saw that sign last year because the year that we won, they barely missed because the Panthers popped over them by a point, right?
I think so.
And then they didn't make it at all last year. They're just steady decline. I think this year's going to hit them hard.
Well, wasn't it last year or the year before where they would have won, but they had to beat Chicago?
It was the year before. It was
and they couldn't even beat Chicago.
It was the our cup year. I was actually watching the episode of Empty Netters with Brandon Montour. And he talked about this. The year they went to the cup against us, they won in overtime or lost in overtime and got 1 point. And Pittsburgh, all that Pittsburgh had to do was win and beat Chicago with their full lineup in the last game, and they fucking lost to Chicago. This is Chicago Sans Connor Bedard.
This is like peak.
Taylor Hall was injured.
Peak rebuild Chicago.
This was dog. This is the worst. This is the Chicago team that got Connor Bedard, and that's how this team was terrible, and they lost in the last game of the season to get them into the playoffs. I'm like, well, fucking. Blow it up, fucking give the keys away, bud. You're done. Like,
yep.
So yeah, I mean, they're gonna be bad. I don't think they're gonna be good at all. I, like you, hate this lineup.
Yep.
Except for Sidney Crosby, I hate this lineup.
I know. Yeah. Free Sid.
So sixth place last year was Philly.
Okay. So this year in sixth place is going to be 3, 2, 1.
Washington.
Philly. My Washington pick's not far off from that.
So when I was ranking these, I was really looking at the lineups, and yeah, Washington made some changes. They brought in Majipani. They brought in PLD, who I still don't believe in, and they obviously brought in Logan Thompson, and they traded for Jacob Chitrin.
Matt Roy.
This team's not bad. I think I just like the teams I have in front of them a little bit more. And that's not saying by much.
They got better, but is it enough?
Is it enough?
They weren't good.
They were not good, and they got fucking stomped out by the Rangers.
I think people had this like idea in their head, like, well, they weren't good, but they made the playoffs, and they technically got better, so that means they're definitely going to make the playoffs this year. I'm like, no, they made the playoffs on a fucking fluke. They had a
tiebreaker, right?
Yeah, tiebreaker in the last game.
Oh yeah,
game of the season. They had a minus 37 goal differential.
Fuck,
minus 37. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, Logan Thompson comes in and helps move the needle, but that defense is older. John Carlson's older. Matt Waugh is 30. Trevor Van Riemsdyk is 33 and hasn't looked great. Yeah. They have a lot, and also they have. I should have opened up Puckpedia, but they have to clear like $10 million still.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So obviously that's going to be with Nicholas Backstrom, and that's $9 million, but they still have to clear like another $1 million.
And is TJ Oshie even going to play this year?
That's also true. So, I doubt it. I'm
washed.
They would clear with those two contracts. TJ Oshie was fucking barely moving last year. So this lineup right now is Ovi, obviously, and then Dylan Strome, Andrew Mangiapane, then Connor McMichael, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Tom Wilson. That's not a bad line at all. And then Alexi Protas, Hendrix LaPierre, Sonny Milano, and then Brandon Duhaime, Nick Dowd, and Taylor Radish.
Yeah, it does not inspire.
Nothing jumps out of the page at you. Ovi's 39.
I will say that I think the decor
is good. It's pretty good.
Surprisingly
pretty solid. I think they worked on what they needed to work on because, like you said, that minus 37 goal differential. They obviously needed to get better on defense, which they did. I mean, they brought in Jacob Chitrin. They've got John Carlson, who's been great, forever. Rasmus Sandin, Matt Roy, Martin Ferravari, and then Trevor Van Riemsdyk.
And then I think that's a decent goalie.
Yeah, Charlie Lindgren and Logan Thompson. Lindgren had a decent year last year. Surprisingly, he's 30. And they also have, what's the guy's name? Hunter Shepard.
Oh, yeah.
The one that showed up to our rink, or I think it was Vegas, and didn't have his his gear hadn't arrived yet. Yeah, he's like, oh shit, he's
literally running it down.
Yeah, because people were
right the game started.
Yeah, I think all their two goaltenders were sick and had to fly him in an emergency flight to get him to get him to play because they didn't have a goaltender. And poor fucking who's our emergency goaltender at T-Mobile? It's
probably fucking Jesse Granger for all I know.
Jesse Granger, or it's one of the announcers. It's Millard.
It might be Millard.
Yeah, because he practices. He takes shots in practice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Darren Millard is about to fucking get fucking shot
get
on,
lit up by his own team.
Get lit up by. I know. I'm sure it'd be funny. Can you take it easy on me, guys? And Petra's like, no. I will fucking kill you.
I'm gonna start ringing them off your head.
Yeah, but they also got a couple young guys I'm kind of excited about. Ivan Miroshnichenko is a really like kind of high-end Russian forward, and I think he's actually over with the team right now. He's going to play in their rookie showcase.
Yeah.
Like, the East Coast rookie tournament that's going to be happening out here. They'll be doing that. He's good. They've got a couple guys, but again, kind of like Pittsburgh, like it's not like high-end incredible stuff.
No.
They do have Ryan Leonard. I don't think he's going to play. I think he's going to be in juniors or in the AHL. I really wanted him when
I think he has very high potential.
Yes. Yeah, he's picked 8. That's their kind of the biggest one. Everything else, like you see, these are like mid-round picks. I just don't think they're going to be good. I think their age is going to show. I mean,
yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but they're not too far off on my ranking.
Yeah,
as
TJ
well.
Oshie's fucking fallen off, and he's just getting beaten. I mean, he's 38.
And
he's had hard miles.
And I feel like we also need to address like Ovi is fucking washed. Like
I know he stands there and shoots.
I know he turned it on, the last part of the season, but everyone's like, oh well, why is he so bad? Is he injured? I'm like, no,
he's
perfectly
39.
healthy.
He's lazy.
He's
lazy.
He's just old.
He's old and lazy. I mean,
he likes to drink beer.
Exactly. I'm 33. I'm gonna be 33. I'm just like to drink beer. But like, yeah, I mean, he's getting older. He might break the record in 2 years. But is this what this team is built for? Is just having Ovi break the record, and then once he does, retires.
That's exactly what
and then
it
they
is.
rebuild the fucking team.
That's what I feel like a lot of Caps fans don't understand. They did not bring in PLD and Mangiapane
to win
because they thought like, oh yeah, we have another cup run in us. No,
feed
they're literally
Ovi.
there.
Yeah.
First practice, they're gonna look up at the whiteboard, and the coach is gonna be like, pass Ovi the puck, give the puck to Ovi.
No, I agree.
I don't care if you're on a one-on-one breakaway and the goalie has a gaping hole. You pass that shit to Ovi.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't believe in the team. And you had Philly in that same spot in 6. So
yeah. Speaking of teams, I don't believe in. This team I hate this team. Like, I just really do. Like, I think they got so overhyped last year, and they way outperformed. They
100% overperformed. I thought they were going to be terrible last season.
Yeah, like I'm looking at this list. Tyson Forrester. Okay. Sean Couturier, literally a healthy scratch, but that's your first line center.
Yeah,
so that's great.
Yeah,
Travis Konecny, I do like Travis Konecny.
I
think he might be a sneaky pick for Team Canada.
Yeah, he's really good. He got paid, but he deserved it.
Then Owen Tippett, I feel like I'm still just waiting for him to like pop, and I'm like, you're 25, dude. Like
he's getting paid $6 million.
Yeah, I'm like, you're not bad, but I don't know. He's
not. You haven't popped off the page yet. Like
I feel like he's not what people were making him out to be.
Right.
I feel like we're just continually in this cycle of like, yeah, he's a young, skilled forward, and he's gonna be good any day
26,
now.
Yep.
Like you're not young anymore. You're hitting the later stage of your prime. Morgan Frost, he's still young. Maybe he'll be something.
Yeah, he had a few good games last year. I think he was playing pretty well.
And then Michkov is the big one. Everyone is so fucking hyped for Michkov. And I admit I am too. He's going to be really fun to watch.
But don't expect the kid that is coming from the KHL to have an immediately amazing year.
Well, it's the thing
some guys take a year or two to like really... No, not everybody's a Kaprizov.
I said, this drives me fucking crazy all the time with rookies. Every single one,
but they're all they
put all their hope in it. This guy's going to save the team. He's going to be this spark plug. He's going to score all these points. I'm like, eventually, yes, he will. Great pick, but guys, be fucking for real.
He's 19.
He's only ever played in Russia with like a different sheet of ice.
Yeah, wider.
Like
the big thing though, he did play in the KHL. And those are fucking grown ass, fucking steroided up men. So
has every other Russian that's come here and fucking sucked.
That's true. Yeah.
So did Nikita Gusev.
That's a good point.
But yeah. So I don't know. I'm not trying to be a wet blanket, or actually I am. I can't believe that people are looking at this mediocre, shitty ass roster and like, well, but Matvey Michkov. I'm like, okay. You put a spoiler on a broken down shitty car.
Yeah. I mean, I have my own opinion on it, but like. I think it's better than the other two I have below it.
That's not saying much.
But that's again, like we said.
Like I said, we're in the manure trying to rearrange the fucking cow pies here.
Yeah, and their defense. So their forwards, real quick, is Forster, Couturier, Konecny, Tippett, Frost, Michkov, and then Farabee, Lawton, Brink, and then Cates, Paling, and Hathaway. I think Farabee is another guy that you think is young, but he's going to be 25. You would like little bit more out of them.
Yeah.
Scott Lawton's 30. I mean, it's a younger team, but like not young in a sense of like they're all like under 23, 24. They're under 26, but they should be better.
Well, these are a lot of these guys are guys that should be in their prime.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're just like, I feel like when Danny Briere came on board, it was like, all right, guys, we're finally rebuilding. And then they just proceeded to like not really rebuild.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Even with, okay, you re-sign Travis Konecny. I get it. He's a great player.
He's great. Yeah. He's an all-star.
He's 27.
He's gonna be, yeah.
I can't call this a rebuild if all you're doing is like trying your hardest to keep this group of players together.
Yeah.
And this group of players has never equaled anything good.
Yeah. No, I agree. And then their defense is Cam York and Travis Seinheim, Nick Steeler, Jamie Drysdale, Igor Zamula, and Rasmus Ristolainen.
Dog shit.
If Jamie Drysdale can be fucking healthy for one time in his goddamn career, this could be a good defense. But Jamie Drysdale's been fucking, his bones are made of fucking plaster. Like he can't stay healthy. Cam York and Travis Seinheim, I think, are both very good. This hinges on Jamie Drysdale not fucking breaking down as 22, because then you're gonna have like
and playing at his
best,
his draft position potential.
And then Igor Zamula is like a 25-year-old, gonna be 25-year-old defenseman. He's not great though. And then Rasmus Ristolainen got overpaid and is not good. And then we get into the worst part of this team.
Oh yeah,
the goaltending is a nightmare. Samuel Ursan and Ivan Fedotov. Ursan was awful last year, so awful that they had to seek Fedotov away in the night from Russia. Was it Russia? He had to like get Finnish citizenship to come over or some shit like that.
I think so.
Yeah, some crazy stuff.
Nationality says Finland, but I think he was playing in the KHL.
Yeah, and then like they were trying to like send him to the front line of like the war.
Yeah.
So, but like he played a few games, didn't look incredible, but he's gonna need some time. But like, yeah, the goaltending is not good. And that's kind of where I was at. Like, I like most of their forwards, but I'm like, this goaltending is pretty fucking rough. Yeah, and then their scratches are Delorier, which I still like, but you know he's gonna be 34. You can your time as a enforcer can only last so long.
Yep.
And then old ass Eric Johnson,
36.
And then I mean they've got a couple guys, like a couple young guys that we like. I mean Jet Luchenko, we really wanted him in the draft.
Oliver Bonk, who has one of the most fun names to say.
One of the funniest names, fun name to say. He's a higher pick, but really there after that, it's nothing. Their goaltending is just so weak. Like I said, I have them a little higher, but I like their forwards. But that goaltending is really bad. Like they're gonna have to figure something out.
I think the only reason this team had any semblance of being good was because of Tortorella.
Yes,
but I feel like Tortorella wears thin pretty quick.
Yeah. How's he going to do in that?
I wouldn't be surprised if they start this year and they're like, actually, we're tired of this. And,
right.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I could see that. So you have Philly at 6. I had the Caps at 6. Number 5 was Pittsburgh last year.
All right. So this year at number 5, it's going to be 3, 2, 1. The Caps.
Islanders.
So yeah, I told you I wasn't far off.
Yeah, so we talked about the Caps.
And it's funny because obviously Islanders haven't showed up for me yet. And this was kind of what I was talking about, where I was like, I really don't want to put you this high because you suck.
Yeah.
But so do all these other teams.
Yeah, the Islanders, I was looking at this lineup as I was doing this, and I'm like, the fuck are these forwards? I'm like, obviously you have Duclair, Horvat, and Barzal. Great line. Good line. But Horvat's still very good. Matthew Barzal's electric. Duclair's really good. And then we get to the rest of the team. They have a 26-year-old KHL forward that they signed, Maxim Siplikov. He's never played in the AHL. He's going to be 26.
Great.
He was decent in the KHL. Now he's going to be your second-line winger. Okay. And you got Brock Nelson, old. Kyle Palmieri, older. And then fucking Anders Lee is 34. JG Pajot, who's been pretty bad, is going to be 32. Pierre
Engvall,
he
was good like that first year of that deal, and then just
has been falling off.
Immediately just became the definition of an overpaid third line center.
Yeah, and he's small too. He's like 5'10". Not small, but you know what? He's small for this lineup because everybody's pretty big. And then Kyle McLean, Casey Zizekas, and Hudson Fasching. That's not a good forward group.
No,
you've got one good line, and the defense is horrific. Alexander Romanov is going to be supposedly playing top pair. He's like, correct me if I'm wrong. He's not that good. He's just big.
Well, here, look up his shit real quick.
Alexander Romanov he's all right. I mean, not great.
Pretty good to me, man. 22 points, plus 20.
Not too bad. Plus or minus 23. That's decent. But was he playing top pairing? Like, that seems, that's with 19, 20 minutes a night. So pretty decent. So maybe correct me.
I think you're a little. This might be sleeping on him.
Yeah,
just because he used to play for a dog shit Montreal team.
Yeah, that's probably why. No, Dobson is very good.
I was gonna say because
Dobson's insane.
The reason why I had the Islanders a little higher was because I think this defense is actually really good.
You think Mike Riley and Scott Mayfield are good?
Well, not really, but I think Noah Dobson is electric.
Noah Dobson's incredible.
I just saw Romanov is good. I
think
Pellick and Pulak are one of the best defensive pairs in the league.
They're so good. I just I don't like maybe I just don't like Alexander Romanov, but I don't know. I mean, it's still a team that's going to be predicated on defense.
And then I know Sorokin had a down year, but that's one of the best goalie tandems in the league.
Yeah, Sorokin's still really good. I mean, again, I have him at 5. I don't have him at the bottom of the division, but I'm not excited about the Islanders because every year it's like, oh, the Islanders.
They just let you down.
Yeah, it's not a team that's exciting.
They're a team that's just kind of pegged for a first-round exit every year.
Yeah, exactly. First round or miss the playoffs entirely. Yeah, I mean, I'm not excited about them. But, again, I don't have them last. I have them in 5th place. You have the Caps in 5th place, so.
Yeah, and we already went over it, but.
It's not much different than what I had because I had the Caps in 6th. So.
Yeah, because for the Caps, I just wrote surprisingly decent decor and decent goalies, but not a good forward core. A lot of the key players are getting old and washed up.
Or they're going to be an LTIR for the entire year.
Yeah, and then like I said, PLD is only there to feed Ovi the puck.
Yep, exactly. All right, and so talking about 5th, 4th place last year was Washington.
So this year in 4th, it's going to be 3-2-1
Philly.
Islanders.
Okay,
so we already talked.
We
about
had
them,
that. We have that group all kind of bunched together.
I was about to say we're
4 through 8.
We're frolicking in the fucking mud pies.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to stack our favorite pieces of shit on top of each other.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we talked about.
In case you guys couldn't tell, I'm very sour on almost every team in this division.
Yeah, I mean, I frankly, we talked about it. Could see. I know we were talking shit about the Atlantic, but the Atlantic could send five teams into the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
that's just how mid to bad 4 through 8 is. All right, talked about both teams, so let's go to 3. Last year, number 3 was the Islanders. This year,
it's going to be 3-2-1
Carolina.
Oh, all right.
I think our top 3 is exactly the same.
Probably.
Frankly, Carolina, I have them at 3. I have them dropped down from 2 last year. They got worse for sure.
I took a screenshot just because of how crazy their roster moves were this year.
Yeah, because they had Jake Gensel and they tried to convince him to stay. I mean, if Gensel was here, we'd be talking, I think, very differently about this team. If they were able to keep Gensel, and then, like we said, Jesper Fast is going to go on LTIR. It's a huge hit. Like, obviously, their first line still really good. They signed Seth Jarvis today, like we mentioned earlier. So it's Svechnikov, Aho, Jarvis. Great first line, one of the better first lines in hockey. And then, much like the Islanders, it really falls off. But what saves the Hurricanes is some of these guys are still pretty good. You don't have a no-name Russian guy playing on your second line. They have
I don't know. They got a no-name Canadian on their second line.
They have Bradley Nadeau. He's only 19. I think he came in last year, played pretty well. Nadeau, I don't know how you say the name. Then Jesper Kotkaniemi and Martin Necas.
To me, that's bad.
Yeah,
I would not want Jesper Kotkaniemi as my second line.
Yeah,
center.
has just not lived up to that RFA deal that where they took him from Montreal.
The offer sheet.
Yeah, the offer sheet. Obviously, Necas is good. I think he's very good. He's worth the $6.5 million they gave him. Kotkaniemi's not been great. Really hasn't been good at all since coming over there. And then, talk about fucking old. Jordan Martinook, Jordan Stahl, and then guy that we talked about when the PLD trade came out, Jack Rolosovic, who's just been not great.
See, this is... I kind of don't like this team, man. Like, again, I know I have them in 3rd, but there are some serious holes in this roster.
Yeah, wings. the third line.
I said, well, yeah, Jordan Stahl's 36, and he's your third line center.
And this fourth line's
Jordan Martinick's a hard worker, but is he a difference maker?
Is he a third line?
I really don't like Jack Roslovic.
No, he's just been bad. This fourth line's pretty solid, aside from one name. William Carrier, great. We love you, William. Jack Drury, he's really good. And then our fantasy hockey league namesake, Brendan Lemieux's group chat. He's a shitty person, to say the least, and he's on the fourth line.
And he's also a shitty hockey player.
But they also have Tyson Jost and Eric Robinson, so I frankly see we might see Jost more.
Yeah.
I would 100% put Tyson Jost in over fucking Brendan Lemieux any given goddamn day.
Yeah. There's good high-end talent here, but like I said, there's also like some of these
gaping
names
holes.
Like, Jesus.
The reason why I put Carolina higher, for me at least, is this defense. You've got Jacob Slavin, who's incredible, probably
one of if not the best defensive defenseman.
Yeah, period, no question. And Brent Burns, who's looked actually very good despite being almost 40. He's looked great with Carolina. And then Dmitry Orlov and Jalen Chatfield. Chatfield's really come up and looked really, really good with them too. And then they brought in Shane Gostisbehere and Sean Walker, who are two very good names bringing. That's your third pairing, so that's really, really good for them.
Yeah, I have it written down here. So acquisitions were Ghost, Sean Walker, Roslovic, Carrier, Eric Robinson, Tyson Jost, Riley Stillman. But then their departures were Jake Gensel, Brady Shea,
huge,
Teuvo Teravainen,
huge. I forgot.
Stefan Nosen, Evgeny Kuznetsov, Antti Ranta, Tony DeAngelo. So not all of those are huge losses.
After you got to those last two, those are pretty huge losses. I mean, Teuvo Teravainen, that's that wing left. That's that second line wing that you don't have anymore.
Yeah,
that's a big loss for them. Yeah, I mean, I still think their defense is very good. And then the way Rod has them playing, team hockey, I think they're a good team. And obviously their goaltenders, Freddie Anderson and Peter Kochetkov, both very good.
Kochetkov looks like he was starting to enter his prime there.
Yep. He's only 25, and Freddie's already going to be 30. Wow, Freddie Anderson's going to be 35. He's still good, I think. And at that cap hit at $3.4 million, it's a good deal. The bottom six is not incredible.
And then we forgot to mention, I think we mentioned it earlier in the episode, but Jesper Foss is going to miss the whole season.
With neck surgery.
I already had question marks, and then this news came out the other day, and now I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah, they've got some prospects, like Noel Gunler was really good. When he came, I think he played a couple games where they loaned him out. Really, I mean, as with a good team, it kind of gets harder to have high end picks.
Yeah.
I think they'll be 3, but I don't think they'll be like incredible.
I think their days of being like a
top dog,
being like a favorite pick for the cup
are gone.
I don't want to say over, but definitely not here this year.
I think they're just much like us, not saying it's the same talent wise, but we're in that second tier of. I would even argue we're higher than them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's us being homers, but I would argue, obviously it's like the cup, like the favorites, like, the Rangers and Dallas, and then, the maybes like us and
because obviously this lineup's not set in stone. It's just a projection. But is Bradley Nadeau really going to be your second line winger?
Yeah, I would hope.
Are you
going
to put Carrier in that spot? Do you really want Carrier on your second line?
Yeah, exactly. Do you want Martinick on your second line? Do you want Eric Robinson on your second line?
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so. So we have thirds. I think we both agree.
Yeah. A little bit of a tenuous 3, but a 3 nonetheless.
And then number 2 last year was Carolina. This year,
number 2 will be 3, 2, 1.
New Jersey.
Rangers.
Oh, you got New Jersey's number 1. Okay.
I went back and forth on these two. And I just decided to go with my gut.
Make a little September hot take. So I have New Jersey at 2. I think I could see why you put them at 1. They're only getting more talented and like meshing well together with each other.
If I'm being honest, like I was like very torn on this, and then the only reason I went to Rangers was I hate doing this, but sometimes you got to think of those like intangibles, and I'm like, they're probably just gonna be a little burned out from winning the President's Trophy. You know what I mean? Like
also
they might have a sleepy start.
The Devils signed Sheldon Keefe.
Yes.
As much as Maple Leafs fans like to talk shit, he's got a history of winning. I know they didn't make it past the first round, but I don't think that was Sheldon Keefe's fault.
Nope.
So their lineup is Palat, Hishar, and Mercer right now. And then Jesper Bratt, Jock Hughes, Timo Meyer. Timo Meyer needs to step it back up.
Yeah, he's one piece that I'm a little worried about.
Yeah, and then Tomas Tatar, Eric Holla, Stefan Nosen moves over to the Devils, and then Paul Cotter, Curtis Lazar, and Nathan Bastian. I like that forward group.
Me too. I think Tatar's getting a little not good.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, Timo Meyer kind of has some question marks because he just
that third line is
never
older.
seemed to gel with them.
I think that third line is going to be more of like a defensive line, like it's Tatar, Holla, Nosen.
But I do kind of like that fourth line though. I think
Cotter, Lazar, Bastian. Yeah, I do too.
Be a very energetic,
very hard line to play against.
If you get scored on, you put that line over the ice.
Because Nathan Bastian's fucking gigantic, 6'4".
Let him just fucking skate and hit people.
Yeah, he's very good. He's good. He's a good fourth liner. And then Cotter, we know Paul Cotter obviously will fit well with this team. And then defense, I actually really, really like this defense.
Much improved.
Jonas Siegenthaler, Dougie Hamilton, Luke Hughes, Brett Pesce, which is a great signing. Brett Pesce's really good.
Yes.
Brendan Dillon, also very good. And then Simon Nemec. We talked about it briefly. What happens if there's an injury again and, you have to bring another 20-year-old.
Yeah.
But that's traded away John Marino, but Brett Pesce's still very good.
Yeah.
And then their goaltenders are Jacob Markstrom, who they traded for, and then Jake Allen. I think a very serviceable pair.
Much better pair.
Way better.
Unlike last year when they went into the season with Vitek Vanacek and was it Blackwood?
No, Blackwood was already in San Jose at that point. It was Vanacek and Schmid.
Either way, they went in with an awful tandem, and everyone's like, "Yeah, that team's definitely going to win the cup." No questions.
Nope. Yeah, so it's a good team, and then they still have Nico Dawes is a really good goaltending prospect. They've got Anton Siliev, who might play some games. That giant fucking defenseman. 6'7".
Was Dawson Mercer on that list? Or?
Dawson Mercer was on this. He still needs a contract.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
yeah, he's an RFA.
Yeah,
but I would assume they're going to get close on that one. That only makes sense.
Yeah, to me, my big thing with them is they seemingly addressed the issues that they had to address directly, and that they got some energy and some physicality in the forwards. They added good veteran D to the D core. And they completely replaced that dog shit goalie tandem.
Yes.
And Jacob Markstrom was really good last year.
Yeah.
I feel like his stats didn't always show it, but again,
that team in front of him was awful. Yeah.
That happens when a goalie's playing behind a dog shit team. But he looked really well. He looked really good. Jake Allen, he's perfect in a backup role.
Yeah, this is a great 1A 1B.
Yeah. Yeah, and then to me, again, getting into the intangibles, which I know you shouldn't do always, but I just think they're ready to. They're young, and I think they're probably all a little pissed off about how last year ended.
I think so. And the new coach.
You get that new coach bump. I really like Sheldon Keefe as well.
Yeah, I do too.
And I don't know. I could see this team winning a lot of games in the regular season. I don't know how many they'll win in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but I think they'll do just fine in the season.
Yeah, I think so. So I have them at 2, and obviously, you had the Rangers at 2. I think these are probably both very close for both of us.
Yeah.
And, obviously I won't make the mistake like last year. Let's talk about first. Last year, number 1 was the Rangers.
Mm-hmm. This year, it'll be 3, 2, 1.
The Rangers.
The Devils. All right.
Right. And we talked about the Devils. I think...
I still really like the Rangers, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. These could flip-flop. These can go either way. I think it's going to be a tight race for first. The Rangers also look very good. I mean, you got Panarin, Trocheck, Lafreniere. Lafreniere's really turned it back, showed that he's... a number 1 pick. He had a great year last year. And then we got Kreider, Zibanejad, and Smith. I think that's going to be really good for them. Bringing in Riley Smith, I think it's going to be good for Smith as well, going to a good team. And then we've got Jimmy Vesey, Philip Sheedle, and Capo Kakko. I'm unsure about Kakko. I just don't know.
I think if there's a weak spot in their lineup, it's right there.
Yeah. Cheadle, I don't know how to...
Heedle,
there you go. It's that fun Czech CH. Heedle was pretty good, but he had a lot of concussions last year, I think, right?
Yeah, he did.
He's just got to stay healthy, and he's a good player. Kakko, I don't think is living up to the number 2 pick. I don't think he ever will.
Not even close.
And then the fourth line is Will Cooley, Sam Carrick and Matt Rempe, that big fucking giraffe, Matt Rempe. I think it's awesome. I think he's ready and willing. Let the guy skate. And then they also have a couple scratches was Johnny Brodzinski and Bo Gruel.
Yeah, all right.
But Brodzinski played on their fourth line a lot last year. I think he'll probably play over Carrick.
Yeah, then I think they added Chad Ruedel.
Chad Ruedel's a good
depth piece.
Yeah, and so the defense is Ryan Lindgren, Adam Fox, great pairing. Keandre Miller, who's incredible, with Braden Schneider, and then Zachary Jones and Jacob Trouba. Actually,
I don't know who the fuck Zachary Jones is.
He was traded. It looks like he was drafted in 2019, so he's probably been in their systems. But you also have Chad Ruedel, who can pop up and play if you need him to. But this is a good defense, but a young defense. Like, look at these ages. 26, 26, 24, 22, 23, and then Jacob Trouba's 30, but he's going to be on your bottom pair, which he should be. He's not. He's been really, really slowing down. We actually tried to trade him, right? This offseason.
Oh, yeah. That was the whole thing where it's funny because some shitty Rangers fan commented on a post about Vegas and was like, well, we all know how Vegas treats their players, fucking like dog shit, no loyalty. And I was like, hey, how's trying to publicly pressure your captain into waiving his no trade clause going?
Yeah, while his wife's in her first couple years of residency in her medical program in New York, you specifically picked the Rangers to get traded to, so your wife could have the best education and go to the best hospitals out there. Really nice, huh? And then obviously we got Shesterkin and Quick, great goaltending.
Shesterkin alone, that's
incredible. And Quick will spot fill some any emergency games or spell Shesterkin if it need be. They've got a couple prospects like Gabe Perreault is pretty good.
That's the big one.
That's a big one, so he might come in and pop in. I think this team is good. I think it's just they didn't make too many changes really outside of
adding Riley Smith
and then bringing in Riedel. If they roll it, like you said, the one thing I can see is them going, oh, we're fucking tired. Like we don't want to keep up with this pace. And
and then
they went into that two long deep playoff runs back to back, and they got beaten up by the Panthers.
Yeah, that was kind of my only real thought on putting them at 2 instead of 1 was I generally like this roster a little more. But even then, I'm not sure because. Like I said, I really liked the additions on defense that New Jersey made. But that being said, I still really like this roster. I just like I said, I keep saying that. Like I said. I just think, they're gonna be burned out.
Yeah, I can see that. And then New Jersey's got fresher legs. They're younger. I mean,
as I'm saying, their best players are starting to age.
The Rangers.
And I feel like
Panarin's gonna be 33.
I feel like they're still like missing like a. I feel like I really lost a lot of faith in Zibanejad last year.
Yeah, he really shut down in the playoffs.
Yeah, I got to the point where I'm like, is he a first line center? I mean, this projection has Trocheck as the first line center.
Trocheck was electric in the playoffs, so he was pretty incredible. I think I agree with you. They're missing a second line center to give you the ability to put like Zibanejad on the third line. And solve something, but like they do need. Everybody needs a high-end second-line center, you know what I mean? But, Zibanejad just did not look great.
When I look at Trocheck and Zibanejad, I'm like, those are two really good second-line centers, but where's your first-line center?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Where's your Jack Eichel? Where's your
Jack Hughes?
Nathan
McKinnon.
Jack Hughes is technically playing second line center on New Jersey on the lineups right now, but I think that's because they have a plethora of centers.
Yeah.
You have Nico Hischier, who also was really great.
That was another note I had about New Jersey was, they have all the pieces here for some high flying offense, but with Keefe's coaching. And then I think some of these guys have some potential for strong two-way play, especially Nico Hischier.
Yeah.
And then with an improved defense and the improved goalies, I'm like, I think this team's going to be a lot harder to score against.
I think so too. Like I said, I think we both agreed. We've kind of flip-flopped the Rangers and the Devils a couple times.
The Devils!
Could be the Rangers like you said, could be burnt out and might finish, just be slower. I don't think the Rangers will finish third. They're too good of a team. But the Devils could finish first or second. I do hope we're not buying into it like we did last year where everybody's like, yep, the Devils are going to be pretty decent. I didn't think they were going to be first, just because off the goaltending. I thought they were going to be better than fucking seventh. But this team is kind of primed to be good. I mean, as long as Hamilton's healthy, and Siegenthaler stays healthy,
Goaltending holds up.
Luke Hughes,
the new coach.
Luke Hughes takes a step.
And that's another thing too. Those young guys that everyone loves to latch on to, and I always roll my eyes. They are maturing year by year.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
and look, thank God Luke got his somebody's size, because at least thank God the kid's 6'2", not as small as his brothers.
Yep.
So and this team, like you look at the size on the team too. This is a big team. Siegenthaler 6'3", Hamilton 6'6". Hamilton 6'6". Jesus Christ!
I didn't realize it was that big.
Hughes is 6'2". Pesci is 6'3". Brendan Dillon 6'4". Simon Nemec is 6 feet even, and then you can also bring in Celiev if you needed to, and that motherfucker is 6'7".
Mm-hmm.
And they also have Santeri Hadaka, who played a few games. I think he got traded to them from the Sharks. He played obviously with the injuries last year. He played a few games. He was pretty good. But yeah, this is a big defense. I think it's a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see it honestly either way. I could see it happening like you were saying, that Rangers are a little burnt out. Devils pick it up. I could see the Rangers just cruising again, but I don't think the Rangers want to cruise to be fucking the President's Trophy winner again.
I think they're due for some playoff success.
Yeah, exactly.
Like at least make it to the final.
Yeah,
and I know that's a high bar, but it should be a high bar because they're a good team.
Yeah. Like I said, do you think the Devils make it all the way? Maybe not, but I could see them finishing first or second. But that's the Metro. I think we agree that 1 and 2 are obviously the best teams in this division. Carolina, we both had at 3, who's all right, and then 4 through 8, just like
dog
yuck.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah,
I would characterize it as you got your top 2 teams, you got a team with a bunch of question marks, and then just
hodgepodge. Yeah, a hodgepodge of bad. Yeah, it's kind of similar to the Atlantic, where like, how do you rank these? It was like 4 through 7 or 4 through 8. We're like, man, these teams are all
I think
similarly
at least
terrible.
The Atlantic had it was more like half and half. Like this is really like 6 of these 9 teams are awful.
Yeah, like you could like we said,
counted to 8 teams.
Yeah, the
6 of the 8.
The Atlantic could really send 5 teams in. I could totally see Boston, Florida, obviously Boston and Florida and Toronto, but I could see Tampa. Tampa could make it. Detroit could make it. Like Montreal could take a step and make it in as a 5 seed. Like it's just like those lineups, or the Isles lineup was. The forward lineup of the Isles were atrocious.
Yeah, even the teams that we had towards the bottom of the Atlantic, like
weren't terrible.
Like Buffalo and Montreal. Like looking at these rosters now, and I'm like, any of those teams are better than Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah,
better than Columbus.
Pittsburgh is so bad.
Fucking, the Islanders. Fucking
yeah,
missing one, but better than half these teams.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh is just, not only is it like the team's not good, it's just that team's old. Like. Yeah. The Oilers are old, but the Oilers have fucking Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah.
The Penguins are old. Yeah, they have Sidney Crosby, but what else do they have after that? What's there to be excited about?
Not at his peak. Let's just say.
He is showing his age the way he should be. Sidney Crosby.
He's showing his age like a normal human.
Like a normal human. A 38-year-old playing hockey.
Sidney
for
Crosby's still a mutant.
Fucking freak. Yeah. Sidney Crosby's going to be good. He's probably going to be playing hockey like 42.
I was about to say he's going to retire like when he's like fucking 45 years old.
What's that? The picture. It wasn't Bobby Orr. It was played for the Whalers. They're gonna kill us if we don't remember Gordie Howe, and he's got no cap, no helmet on. He's got his gray hair.
Yeah, he looks
full
like
gray. Yeah,
he looks like he should be teaching at a high school.
Yeah, yeah. And he was like in his like mid 40s and played with his like 20-something-year-old sons in the league when they came in. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's gonna be some Sidney Crosby shit.
Yep. Free Sid.
If Sid resigns, I get it. He's been in Pittsburgh his entire career. I understand it. He's been the captain forever. But that team is going nowhere for the next 5 to 6 years until they can get rid of everybody else that's old and replace them with draft picks or do a rebuild. Yeah, next week we'll talk about the Central.
We're creeping close
to the Pacific.
Yep. Yeah, we'll do Central, Pacific, and then that should hopefully take us into training camp. And then
we can talk a little bit about the rookie face-off that'll happen over in 2 weeks.
Talk about some preseason games.
Yeah, preseason. Got a couple of those locked in. Until then, stay gold and rest in peace, Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau.
Stay gold. Rest in peace, Johnny. Rest in peace, Matthew.